A walk down Dyckman Street in the summer of 2020, amid the backdrop of the coronavirus, would likely prove a surreal experience for a visitor from the beginning of the 20th century. The bodegas, bars, and sidewalk cafes, not to mention all the people, might make the early traveler wonder if they were still in Inwood at all. But if the shoes were reversed, would you recognize the Dyckman Strip if transported back to the early 1900s? This vintage image of the Dyckman Strip was captured by city surveyor and civil engineer George C. Wheeler not long after the turn of the 20th century. To the left, we see a rider on horseback passing the old Mount Washington Presbyterian Church on Riverside Drive. The church later relocated to Vermilia Avenue near the post office, but that's another story altogether. Here, let's label the streets to help get you oriented. Isn't that better? Now let's take a closer look. The building, highlighted in the photo, is the old public school number 52. The three-story, red brick schoolhouse with the 12 chimneys opened in 1858 when the region was still sparsely populated farmland. Early New Yorkers ridiculed the school as a waste of tax dollars. They said, "Inwood will never have enough students to justify a building that big. If they could only see us now." So what's missing in this photograph? Apartment buildings, for one. The neighborhood wouldn't see any major construction until the subway arrived in 1906. That's the elevated rail line, still under construction, deep in the background, barely visible in the haze. If we were to pan left, we'd come across the general store owned by Robert Veach. He sold dry goods and animal feed. His general store was a popular meeting place, and the only game in town. Working our way west on Dyckman Street toward the Hudson River, a passerby might stop to admire the neat little houses lining the northern side of the road. The occupants of these charming homes included well-to-do Inwood residents, who included the son of President Ulysses S. Grant and Sea Captain William Flitner, whose family maintained Inwood's first library from the parlor of their home. Working further west, toward Tubby Hook, we see the Magdalen Benevolent Society under construction. The frightening home for expectant and unwed mothers closed in 1920 after the public learned that the medical staff had been conducting diabolical experiments on the young women that included injecting them with solutions of mercury. And while, today, a visitor can enjoy an afternoon cocktail from the deck of a snazzy waterfront cafe, this would be the end of the line for the early traveler upon reaching the river's edge, where an ill-advised bathing pavilion was constructed next to an open sewer. And so ends this installment of the Inwood Time Machine.